La la la, la la la, la la la. Happy tree. Hey everyone, welcome to Happy Tree Tuesday. I am Little Fawn, happy to bring forth your Happy Tree Oracle. This is our oracle. For those of you new to this channel, this is where we literally bring forth the wisdom of Bob Ross, the Ross Boss, and we utilize these cards, which have his paintings, his words, and then we look at the tarot correlation. So in this case, the tarot correlation would be the 10 of Pentacles. And I really believe if you practice enough, you could paint the Mona Lisa with a 2-inch brush. And, you know, the 10 of Pentacles is that ultimate fulfillment card, and we have the beautiful mountains and the trees, and it's sustainable wealth. So that's a $1.95 version of the depth of the wisdom that you can get from a simple little deck of playing cards. This month I'm going to do it a little differently. I have a lot going on, so I am going to do all 4 weeks of this month, and by weeks I mean like 7-ish day periods, not necessarily looking at the calendar. It's like, because there's usually always like a little on one side or the other. So we're gonna look at each week in one spread this month. And then you can refer back to this video at any point to check back in with the energy of the week as you need. And then Bobbers also would like to give us a kind of like an overview that ties everything together. So this is the first time that I'm doing it this way. So let's see how it goes, shall we? So the first week, the week that we're in now, as we enter June, we have the 10 of Swords. Which normally is a little bit of a yikes card, but after the May that was, which I don't know how you guys feel, but it felt to me like May was a blink, but inside of that blink, it was like lifetimes were packed. So June is definitely going to be a little bit of a, and that 10 of Swords, the only, the best way I think to interpret it as far as empowering, using it as a card, not, I was just talking to a friend of mine today, not necessarily as a fortune telling kind of bad, good, like in that respect, but what is the energy and how can I move through it from a place of love and grace and gratitude? How can I grow? How can I be empowered inside of this energy? So this 10 of Swords is very much whatever was. So inside of this week, there may be like a little bit of a carryover of anything that you were moving through or dealing with, or rolling out of, for particularly the month of May. I feel like the last couple weeks of May were kind of like a wild ride. But ultimately, I like to view this card as a new dawn. And so Bob's quote is, use absolutely no pressure, just like an angel's wing. And I love that. And we have this imagery of this kind of, it's a frozen over lake, and there's like snow around it, leading up to that mountain that seems kind of like gray and desolate in a way, but there still is the bright green of those evergreens. And we are those evergreens. So we withstand, we continue to grow, we continue to spiral and reach upward. So this first week, I think, again, no pressure. We were talking again when I had my little lady date about how my guides always say that insistence and resistance are the same. They're both energies that push against. Through like I don't want, or you gotta kind of, and it's the same. You're pushing against and you're causing a form of suffering in that. So if you can kind of like take a step back and exhale and just There's an animal tarot deck that I have called Spirit Song, and I don't know I can't remember what card it is, but I just know that it's a seahorse. And when I looked at the imagery, it was like, they don't have fins, they don't have, like if you look at them, you're like, how do they even move in the ocean in that kind of like little curlicue shape? But they pulse and they glide. So that's kind of, I feel like the message for this week. Just pulse and glide. Create the frequency that you want to follow into form. Create that resonance point, that just little kind of emanation and vibration that allows for the opening for you to glide through. So no pushing, no insisting, no forcing. Simply just accept that the past is the past. Whatever was. There's no need to carry it with you beyond what was learned, what was gained from the experience. And we gain something from every experience. There is like there's always a lesson. There's always something that can again keep you on that upward spiral. So week 1, yeah, just tread lightly. We're not moving too quickly just yet, but we are moving. Moving into the second week, we have this 8 of Wands, but it's upside down. So I like it upside down. And Bob says, now then, let's wash the old brush. That's the fun part of this whole technique, okay? Shake off the excess and just beat the devil out of it. And then he would make a mess. And the imagery is really beautiful. The mountains everything's thawed out. Like if you look at the 2 cards together, and I'm going to do this, you see that we have like literally winter, and then we have the thaw out, the beautiful purple mountains, and the thawed out lake there. So yeah, wash the old brush. That's part of this technique. Wash it out, clean it, start fresh. So, and then that 8 of Wands upside down is saying that you, there's again movement, but it is not necessarily going to be like the 8 of Wands is fast, whether it's right side up or upside down, but that 8 of Wands sometimes can point you back to something that maybe you thought was over, you thought you were done with. So it'll move you quickly. Like the potential for quantum leaps inside of this space where seemingly nothing is happening is very great in these first 2 weeks. And again, you have the beautiful, like it's thawed out. So that in itself is movement. Even though nothing moved per se, there is movement. And again, it's that upward spiral that we're interested in, these kinds of quantum leaps. And that 8 of Wands reversed is like, again, I feel like it's just an echo of don't push, don't insist. Don't move faster than your initial pulse has created the opening for. Like, trust in that. And if something swings around, it could be that there's somebody or something from the past comes back around and you're like, well, I never thought of that. I thought that was over. But here it is again, inside of this higher octave as you've been spiraling up. So it'll be worth consideration. Moving into the third week, we have the 2 of Pentacles also in the reversed position. And a lot of times too, these reverses can be, I always say it's an inside job. So when they're upright, it can kind of be what the external world is reflecting back to you. When they're upside down, when they're in the reversed position, it's like what's actually going on inside the projector, which is us, and how is that maybe distorting or skewing the projection, and how can you kind of right that ship again. So the 2 of Pentacles is very much a balance card, and upside down it's saying like, whoa, I'm having a hard time, like there's a lot going on, and I'm having a hard time balancing because maybe you're taking on too much or you're wasting too much time trying to mitigate from the dualistic perspective of this, a little more of this, a little more of this, a little less of that, a little, like you spend time doing it in the external and you just end up on the seesaw. Whereas if you go inside and you calibrate the center, again, back to that little seahorse, you calibrate the center and you send that vibration forward, you open up that path to just glide through. And in that glide, it's there is balance. You are the expert surfer because you created the wave. You're not susceptible to the wakes and the swells of the waves around you because you've opened up your own little like parting of the Red Sea, you know, like you've opened it up for yourself, and then you can move through much more easily. As my timer ticks 11:11. So Bob says, let's get crazy. What the heck? Take a 2-inch brush. This is your bravery test. So, and again, we're back to winter. So there may be a lot of kind of like, oh, hey, we're moving, oh, and then we're from, oh, hey, we're moving, so again, I feel like there will be more of an ease this month than there was last month. But at the same time, in order not to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, take your 2 steps forward and embrace the pause if it shows up for you. Let it, and then make another pulse. And again, this is the bravery test. Use what you have. Bob would make a beautiful, breathtaking, delicate painting with a 2-inch brush. It didn't matter the tool, it matters who's using the tool. So make your broad stroke. Don't be afraid of it, and don't worry if you don't have everything quite the way you want it, or you wish you had, or it would be easier if, like, take an inventory of what you actually have working for you. And again, because it's reversed, I would say on the inside, what is it that's available to you now? And even if it's not what you think is the right tool to move you forward, adapt. Use it anyway, because you can use a corner of a 2-inch brush and make a whisper of a cloud, or you can make a big old tree. It's up to you. And like he said, don't be afraid. This is your bravery test. Don't be afraid to mark up the canvas either. There are an infinite number of canvases. There's an infinite amount of paint, and you can make whatever you want, whenever you want. So don't worry about putting both feet into something. And that was another message that came through for me, for my guides. It's like, okay, I'm an Aries, so, you know, there's one foot in a lot of stuff. And they kind of gently patted me on the head and were like, but yeah, you need to take the other foot and put it in to something. Any one of these can be the main river. The others are always going to be tributaries. Everything will lead to the same open sea, but you do have to put both feet into something in order to be able to flow and allow it to carry you to the bigger sea. The final week, we have quintessential Bob. We don't make mistakes, we just have happy accidents, and that goes right in line with, you know, here's your bravery test. So we're rolling out of whatever it was that is complete. We're healing and releasing and dissolving out any of the wounding, any of the echoes of the trauma, any of the debris, the energetic debris. We're cleaning it up. We're taking our time. We're understanding about calibration and vibration and frequency so that we can carve out our own path inside of this, you know, seemingly crazy outer world. And we can begin to really just glide and flow in a beautiful way. And then he reminds us that there aren't mistakes. It's all intentional. It's all meant. The road, the path of human evolution and human experience and expression was never meant to be a straight line. It was always meant to be, you know, this weaving, winding, experiential, expansive thing. So just lean into it and know that there really is infinite time. The soul is eternal. So just allow yourself to play, allow yourself to experiment, allow yourself to express and experience. Um, and the waterfall that's depicted in this, that is abundance, that is infinite abundance. Like there's plenty of anything that you wish for, want, desire, want to align with. There's plenty of it. So just choose, again, choose your pulse point and follow it. And then anything else that branches off from there, you can choose to follow. It can weave in and join you. You know, what I find happens is if you do put both feet into something, eventually these other things that make everything seem so overwhelming in the beginning start to kind of, the ones that don't matter will just kind of fall away. They won't, they'll just die out on their own. And then the ones that have resonance and harmonics, they tend to end up flowing into the same sea, and you go, oh, hey you, I see how this all comes together now, or now it's time to add you. So you can't choose wrong, you only must choose. And that 8 of hearts, upside or right side up, actually in this case, is saying it's time to move on. It is the move on card, and it could be from something, it doesn't always have to be from something bad. It just has to acknowledge, if it's complete, it's complete. Because if you're content but in a rut is still a rut. So humans are meant to, I know I've spoken about it before, like in linear time and inside of the karmic wheel of learning and growing, you're rolling along this path. But when you start to really grow your awareness and shift your frequency into these higher octaves, then you begin to spiral up into higher octave frequency spectrums and playgrounds of expressing and experiencing. So even if something is seemingly okay, but there's something that is just, you're not 100% fulfilled, but you figure, oh, this isn't so bad. It's okay to search outside of it. It's okay. It doesn't matter if people think you're nuts. It's your journey. It's your soul's evolution. And anything that you choose and anything that you go out and experience, your lens is the only lens through which Source, and subsequently the whole of the collective, the whole of the universe, can gain that insight back into itself to elevate the whole, of which you are also a part of. So don't discount where the heart wants to pull you. Lean in to, and again, lean into joy. It's interesting how we have a representative from each suit here, but ultimately the theme of the month, it all boils down to that 9 of Cups, which is the wish card. And so that wish card says, like, whatever it is that you think you're right, whatever it is that you want to create, you can. But you have to believe in it, believe in yourself, and you have to trust in what emerges, because we cannot possibly know how these big dreams, these big things are going to manifest when they're in the complete unknown. As a human, you only have the barometer for where you've been and what you've experienced. And so there's no proof of, there's no like tried and true, there's no, well, the data says. You're creating new data. So you have to be willing to step out into a field of possibilities in which you have not explored that yet, in order that you may create the path where none was before. And Bob says, and the more that you paint, the more that you're able to visualize. So again, the more that you do it, the better that you get at it, the better that you get. So it's a practice. Everything in this life is a practice. And the more you do it, the better that the better you become, and the more expansive and the more detailed and the more lucid and technicolor these visualizations can become. And the more you're able to spell it out in detail, not so much in even that linear kind of, here's the movie in my mind. It's the feeling of where you detach from what the movie is showing you, but that movie is evoking in you a feeling that supports the frequency of your intention. And it's in that space that you actually open up the portal into the match, the realm in which it already exists, because you both know what it is you want and you simultaneously release how you think it's supposed to be. Because when you work in co-creation with the universe, it far exceeds what the human mind could possibly construct or conceive as a way forward. So pick up your big brushes, but use them softly this month, and really calibrate that center so that you can emit the pulse that opens your door into your flow, that takes you where you want to go and into what you want to create. And anything that you want to see there along the way, stop and smell those roses. Explore, express, and just continue to open and expand upwards into a more beautiful expression than the perceived human capability. Lean into the soul essence of your divine truth, essentially, and allow that to start to be the rainbow that emerges forth from you as you. Imagine if we all did that. How cool. Look, I'm even wearing a rainbow. So I'm gonna leave it on that. Have a beautiful, beautiful month, and I will see you next month. La, la.